Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beard, taking a look at the feature race at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. It is a win, and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. It's the Grade 3 Princess Rooney Invitational. Let's take a look at this field. We're going 7/8 of a mile, the distance for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Mary Quite Contrary is the number 2, and she was second to the reigning Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint winner, Goodnight Olive, 3 starts back at Keeneland, and well, she took on Echo Zulu in her last 2 races, so she gets some class relief here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she did not run well in her 2 starts up at Saratoga against Echo Zulu. So I guess that could be of some concern, Dan, coming into this race. I think it's pretty clear, though, that the stuff that she was doing prior to those last 2 starts, if she runs one of those races, it's going to be really, really hard for this field to beat.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Mary Quite Contrary likes to come from pretty far out of it, but there appears to be some pace in here, led by the likes of the number 8, Our Adios Jersey, who went gate to wire against fellow Florida breds going 7/8 of a mile. The 9, Poema, has speed. The 3, Olivia Darling, has speed. But I do agree with Timeform US. If Our Adios Jersey breaks, I think she makes the lead.
I agree with that. The more I looked at the race, the more I just felt like she was the fastest horse early, coming off of a stakes win, going this distance here at Gulfstream Park. I think it will be a little bit competitive up there. I don't think she's going to shake loose in this race, Dan, but I think she'll make the lead.
The number 1, Flakes, is a very tactical sort, and she's also lightly raced with some upside potential. Let's watch her most recent start. This is back in July, the Azalea against fellow 3-year-old fillies going 7/8. She was up close to the pace in this race, and she'll end up finishing second best. The Buyer's speed figure of 70, though, kind of underwhelming.
Hasn't really built on what I thought was a pretty promising debut victory for this filly, Dan. I mean, she's run some slightly faster races, but she hasn't had that breakthrough performance yet. Maybe she'll get it in this, but I think there's some talent here. And if she gets the right trip, I think she can be there. I want to see what kind of price she is.
The 2, Mary Quite Contrary, will be making her first start for trainer David Fawkes. And not only is she getting the substantial class relief, but boy, does she love Gulfstream Park. She's won 6 of 7 starts here and really came into her own over the winter.
Yeah, I mean, she had some really, really good races over the winter over this track, particularly going the 7-furlong distance. And then she just sort of confirmed all that in that Grade 1 Madison, 3 starts back then. She ran really well that day behind Goodnight Olive. Listen, her last 2 races, they're not good. Whether you expected her to be competitive in there or not, she never got involved in either of those races. So that could be some kind of a concern, but she bounces back. She probably wins this race.
Olivia Darling earned a stakes placing earlier this year at Tampa Bay Downs, and she comes into this race in fine form off a pace-pressing victory at Parks, going 6.5 furlongs, where Olivia Darling got outside of the leader, and she drives on home, holding off the closers.
She earns this win. I'll give her credit for that, Dad. I'm not sure what it all means. I think the biggest drawback regarding this filly's chances in this race is she really wants to be forward. I mean, she wants to be part of the pace. And if that's going to be the tactics here, she's going to get hooked up, it feels like, with at least the 8 and maybe some others too. It's going to be hard for her to do that, I think.
Trainer Safi Joseph has the 4, Bluefield, in this race, and Safi Joseph's done well with these kind of horses in the past, coming off races from out of town. At Prairie Meadows last time out in the Saylorville, she's kind of got a little bit far back in that race. She runs on to be second. She's run some better numbers in the past, especially down at Gulfstream Park, and if she could repeat one of those numbers, Mike, she's in with a chance here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like her running style for this race, and I do like her getting back to Gulfstream Park, because it does seem like as soon as they switched her over to this trainer and got her to Gulfstream Park, that's when her figures ticked up. She started running much faster races, and she can do it without the early lead, which is a bonus in this race. So she's a pretty dangerous horse, I think, at least for a piece of this from off the pace.
A potentially better priced option from the Safi Joseph barn is the 5, 3 Witches. And I liked what these connections did with her. She didn't run well in a 1-turn mile race in March, and they gave her plenty of time. And maybe she just came to herself over the layoff, because she came back in a weaker first level allowance, going 7/8 of a mile, and she won very easily.
And probably being too hard on her, because she is off of a 5+ month layoff in this race. Dan, I wanted to like this performance a little bit more than I actually wound up liking it. She gets the job done. She does it pretty easily. I didn't think she necessarily finished that strongly. I thought she was an interesting horse in here, though. Another one. I'll wait and see what kind of price she is. But if she doesn't take that much money in here, I'll definitely be using this horse.
The 6 is Last Leaf, a horse that's also cross-entered at Keeneland on Saturday in the Thoroughbred Club of America. Last Leaf fits this race very, very well. Not only is she a 7-time winner, she's won 4 times at Gulfstream Park, and she has figures that make her very competitive.
And she's got the right running style for this race too. I mean, she could get a really good trip in here. This is a way better spot than the race to have her entered in at Keeneland. So it's one of those situations. If they decide to run here, she's a major player in this race.
It probably wasn't a great sign that Safi took Rosie's halo off of a win 2 starts back and put her on the sidelines for a while. She came back last time out. She was no match for our Adios Jersey, who just speed popped that field. Maybe she needed the race, and we'll see something better second time off the bench.
Certainly possible that she could improve second off the layoff here, Dan. She's going to have to do that. I don't think she's run a race yet that's going to make her a serious contender in here. But maybe she'll take that step forward that she needs to take. She's another one who could get the right trip in this race.
Adios Jersey is one half of her 14 lifetime starts, including this race, the Sugar Drama, going 7/8 at Gulfstream. Very confidently handled on the lead, Mike. She just simply had too much speed for this group, and she goes on and wins with a 91 Beyer speed figure. There's a chance she can get to the lead again, and if she runs that number, she'll be tough.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get loose on the lead, though, in sprint races. She got absolutely loose in here, and she just never gives this field a chance behind her with a new top figure. And it's just one of those things you always have to keep in mind. Going 7 furlongs, speed can be much more dangerous in these races sometimes if they don't have to go fast up the backstretch. That was the case last time. If it's the case this time, she'll be tough.
Her next door neighbor has some speed as well, coming off of a nice win. That's the 9 Poema. Let's watch this performance. This is a $60,000 handicap going 6.5 furlongs, and this is a tour de force.
Similar situation to the replay that we just watched, though, with our Adios Jersey, Dan. This horse got loose on the lead, has plenty left through the stretch, and just steamrolls under the wire here, never given the chasers a chance in this race. I don't really feel like she's one of the horses in here who's, career best effort makes her a serious contender in this race. And she's not, I don't think she's making the lead from the horse to her inside.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the win and you're in at Gulfstream on Saturday for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Mary, quite contrary. The class of the race gets a drop, might get the right setup.
I just think she's the best horse in the race, Dan. I don't know, man. Her last 2 races aren't good. I think this is a great spot for them to sort of regroup and get her back on track. So I'm going to take her on top in here. Your horse, 3 Witches, that was the other horse for me. I couldn't quite get there.
I think she'll be a better price, however. I think she has upside. I want to use her in the speed of the speed. Our Adios Jersey, you might sneak clear again. 2581 for Mike, 5862 for me. It's the Princess Rooney at Gulfstream on Saturday. Best of luck.